Johannes goes camping and unlocks. Jinn the Big Unicorn LARP Festival was in full swing. The elderly RV campers of Costa Rica were mingling with the younger crowd of LARPers, all gathered around their roaring campfire cooking s'mores. I, Johannes III, was in my element, fully immersed in my medieval knight character, Sir Valeric. My tent, adorned with custom-made torches that I built with my superior LED lighting knowledge, and a blinking banner bearing my coat of arms, stood out among the sea of people. As I changed into my chainmail in my tent, I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was touching me. I checked outside, but everyone was too engrossed in their finery to notice me. That's when I saw it. A small, intricately carved wooden box in the corner of my tent, adorned with strange symbols. I had no recollection of owning such a thing. Suddenly, a wispy figure materialized out of it, its presence making the air smell of smoke. It was Jinn again, the evil spirit I had conjured up for my LARP character's backstory. But this was no costume. He had materialized again. "You shouldn't have touched me, Johannes," the Jinn hissed, its voice like a cold Siberian wind. "I told you last time that I never want to see you again, and that I will stick a stampede of goats on you if ever called me again." My nose began to itch, and I realized the Jinn was tickling my nose with feathers from my pillow. Sneezing, I tried to brush it off the feathers, but they just kept re-adhering to my nose. I cursed him. The spirit vanished, leaving behind dank, dark spots in air in my tent. I took a few deep breaths, convincing myself the dark, inky spots were just a hallucination from my lack of sleep. But then, I heard the sound of goats bleating in the distance. My heart skipped a beat as I envisioned a stampede of goats trampling my campsite. I emerged from my tent to go to my duel. I noticed a peculiar foam sword lying on the ground. It seemed to be floating? The LARPers nearby were oblivious to it, but I felt an inexplicable pull towards the floating sword. I picked it up, and a strange energy coursed through me. People acted strangely as soon as they saw the sword, as if they were under some sort of mind control. They tilted their heads back to make bleating noises. The elderly RV campers, too, were affected. Every time I passed by, they were stopping their Yahtzee and saying they had urge to eat grass and tin cans. I watched in horror as they transformed into elderly goats, scurrying about on their goat legs. It was then that I realized the truth. The Jinn in my tent had unleashed this horror, and I, Johannes III, have never touched that Jinn box. I went to bed as the campground descended into a labyrinth of goats and rituals. The sounds of screams, bleating goats, and rustling fabric filled the air. Jinn reappeared, and this time as a cat with big googly eyes on the wall of my tent. "You should have listened, Johannes. I told you not to bother me," it spelled out on my Ouija board. I pitched the Ouija board into the neighbor's campfire, but it was too late. The curse of the Jinn was upon me. The goats descended from over a hill and stampeded over me, stealing all my s'mores.